In my life, I was afraid of only two things, the war and Oliver Kahn.
In the last minutes, he came to score someone else's penalty. Bayern needed at least a draw. But for unknown reasons, jumping out to serve, Kahn hit the hook with his fists instead of the old head. The act is completely existential. Behind this is philosophy and a whole, at least a little unbalanced human personality.
The former captain of the German national team had a reputation for losing his temper. He was feared not only by his rivals, but also by his teammates. Millions of football fans adored him and hated him just as much. Everyone knows about it. He was the best, unstoppable and a little weird. But few people know why he became like this, and we want to fix this today. Oliver Rolf Kahn is a German football player who played as a goalkeeper. 8-time German champion, 6-time German Cup winner, European champion, winner of the UEFA Champions League, UEFA Cup and Intercontinental Cup. Gorilla, Bulldog, Neanderthal are just a small part of the nicknames that the public and the press have named Oliver Kahn for his appearance. At first, even in their native Bavaria, bananas and insults from their own fans were flying at the Germans. Imagine what it was like for Oliver as a child, because children can be even more cruel. Kahn has an incorrect bite since birth. The lower jaw is pushed forward, which is very striking. In addition to this, there are problems with diction, because of which the future goalkeeper spent half of his childhood in the offices of speech therapists. We all went to school and have a rough idea of what happens to children who are not like everyone else. They have two options, either to endure all these taunts and insults, or to respond by defending themselves with their fists. Oliver always chose the second option. His whole life was spent in this struggle, which undoubtedly hardened his character. At some point, it seemed that it was even over-calibrated. He saw rivals in all his teammates. It was in the club of his hometown of Karlsruhe that Kahn began to appear in the headlines that defined his personality for many years to come. One of his fellow goalkeepers said in an interview with local journalists that he refused to share a room with Oliver because he was afraid that he would strangle him in his sleep. Another teammate admitted that Kahn considered anyone who wore gloves an enemy. In Karlsruhe, Kahn was attached by his father, a former football player of this club. The goalkeeper himself admits that there is not much natural talent in him. These words are confirmed by the fact that the goalkeeper has never been called up to the junior and youth national teams. To achieve something, he had to work twice as hard. The young goalkeeper got his first chance when he was 18, and in his debut game he was thrown a string bag of balls, and the next couple more. Oliver had to wait 3 more years for the opportunity to prove himself. The German really declared himself in the UEFA Cup of the 94th year. The 25-year-old footballer helped his team surprise Europe with an unexpected exit to the final of the tournament, during which Valencia benefited with an impressive score of 7-0. Kahn immediately received a call-up to the national team, and began the next season with the Bayern emblem on his goalkeeper slitter. From that day a new history of the Munich club began. Fans of the German team did not immediately accept Oliver, let alone the rivals. It so happened that in Germany, fans of other clubs fiercely hate Bayern. And now they have such an unusual character playing in their goal. A barrage of ridicule and insults because of his appearance immediately fell on the newcomer. Quite often, various objects flew from the stands at him, lighters, bottles, and sometimes bananas. All this could break any other non-American football player. On the contrary, he got into a familiar situation for himself, in which he navigates like a fish in water. This attitude only motivated him. His words before the decisive match in Hamburg are only confirmation of that. The whole stadium will be against us. The whole of Germany will be against it. Nothing could be better than that. Taunts in his direction were not the only problem in the debut season. The team had a bad start to the year, missed a lot, and in the 15th round the goalkeeper tears his ligaments and leaves for 4 months. Kahn commented on this failure very simply: "It's okay, you just need to work and everything will be fine." After his return, he regained his place in the starting lineup and for the next 13 years was the undisputed number 1, and for the audience he turned from a gorilla and Neanderthals into a titan, a volcano, or just an ally. Kahn was huge in every sense of the word. At his peak, he was truly a world-class goalkeeper, and all thanks to his obsession with becoming the best. He reached his peak only at the age of 30, and he spent his first tournament as the main goalkeeper of the national team at 31. All these years, every day the German laid out 200%. The passion for winning boiled in him even at this age. He just hated losing. To understand how much, you can recall a story that happened quite recently. Kahn took part in a charity event in which children punched 11-meter shots at his goal. Each goal cost a certain amount of money, which then had to go to the general fund. So, the legend of Bavaria did not allow to score a single goal in his own goal, and that's the whole point of Oliver Kahn. The goalkeeper has always taken the game very seriously, but the attitude of winning at any cost had a rather sad effect on Kahn. After the defeat in the Champions League final in the 99th year from Manchester United, he had a severe depression, which he recalls in a documentary dedicated to Bayern. According to the German, he could not even find the strength to go down the stairs and go to training. He was so emotionally overloaded after that season, in which, by the way, he was recognized as the best goalkeeper in the world, moving up, over and over. But this attitude is dangerous. You can't see where it might take you. Higher and higher, further and further, but you're still unhappy. At some point, you can no longer move from tension to relaxation. Depression, emotional burnout, it all comes together. Another distinguishing feature of his was aggressiveness and overwhelming determination. There are many cuts of his antics on the internet, which at first glance seem inadequate. However, he wasn't some kind of savage. There was method in his madness, and thoughtfulness in his ferocity. He rarely acted rashly, and his aggression was disciplined. He was the one who used his qualities to inspire confidence in his partners and scare the opponent and somehow influence the course of the game. Imagine how teammates feel when a golf ball is thrown at their goalkeeper, and instead of writhing in pain and showing his weakness, he is ready to tear everyone around, cheering on his team, shouting to them, come on, go ahead, everything's fine, why are you up? This confidence cannot but be transmitted to the field players. And knowing that there is such an impenetrable person behind you and it will be much easier to play attack. I often use their bodies to show my team my full presence and inspire respect or, even better, fear to my opponents. Goalkeepers need an element of madness. Who else is going to stand there and let people throw various objects at themselves and still think it's great? After the Champions League final of the 2001 year, Kahn demonstrated to the whole world that his heart is not made of metal, and he himself is not made of iron. In the penalty shootout, Bayern were stronger than Valencia. The German deflected 3 penalties, which helped Munich to win this trophy for the first time since 1976. Instead of celebrating the victory, Oliver went to calm the goalkeeper of the Spanish club, who was sobbing with resentment. For this gesture, he received a prize from UEFA for fair play. At the end of this season, Kahn was again recognized as the best goalkeeper in the world. Perhaps the most impressive achievement of Kahn was his first appearance at the World Cup as the main goalkeeper of the national team, and this at the age of 33. Germany entered the tournament in Japan and South Korea with the national team clearly on the decline. They were defeated in the quarterfinals of the World Cup of the 98th year in France and could not even get out of the group at the Euro of the 2000th year.
Kahn is a miracle.
It's a German miracle. Look at what he's done now. Usually, when describing historical events, especially about sports, achievements are slightly exaggerated. But in this case, we must admit that Germany would never have reached the final if it had not been for Oliver Kahn. Attacks Faramensky Oliver Kahn.
Ollie, as the German fans call him, once again saves his team at this tournament.
For 6 matches, the Germans conceded only 1 goal, and in the playoff series they won all the games with a minimum score and only thanks to the enchanting performance of their goalkeeper. At the World Cups, the award of the best player of the tournament is presented before the final, and Oliver Kahn became it. Goalkeepers have never been recognized as the best before and after that. However, all efforts were crossed out by a single mistake that almost broke him.
Well, let it be 5. Sold it. Well, was it Oliver Kahn's mistake? I don't think so. The Germans were already so hopeful of their goalkeeper that they didn't even insure him. But you need to insure.
10 minutes later, Ronaldo scored again, securing Brazil's 5th world title. Shortly before this fatal mistake, Kahn tore a ligament on the ring finger of his right hand, which may have played a role in the treacherous rebound of the sword. But the goalkeeper did not make excuses, saying that it had nothing to do with what happened.
These are really the tears behind for which there is no shame. Men can cry in this situation.
As after the final with Manchester, the footballer was experiencing a deep depression. On this basis, he had problems in his family, which were discussed by the whole of Germany. He was regularly punished by the police for speeding, he began to brawl and make mistakes. It seemed that Kahn's career went to the bottom, but the Titan still found the strength and returned to his high level, which allowed him to take part in the home world championship at the age of 37, where he again demonstrated his human qualities. Before the start of the tournament, the head coach of the national team announced that Germany's #1 would not be Kahn. And it wasn't about age, because both goalkeepers were born the same year.
It's unpleasant. Until recently, I was convinced that I would play. It was difficult to go to the bench every time. I watched the game, trying to visualize the match, and then I returned to the locker room as soon as possible.
In addition, the main guardian of the gate was Lemon, with whom the Titan had a mutual dislike, and they both did not hide it. For many years, Ian could not survive the Bavarian from the national team. He did not hesitate to criticize and insult him in the media. Lemon said that Kahn should deal with family problems, otherwise it prevents him from playing normally. And Kahn answered journalists' questions and who is Lemon. But before the penalty shootout with Argentina, Oliver Kahn found the strength to approach Jens, cheer him up and wish him good luck. This moment was caught on TV cameras and looked really strong, masculine.
How? Can you imagine? Oliver Kahn came to congratulate, not to congratulate, but to cheer. As it is customary to consider them enemies. And terrible enemies. I came to cheer up Jens Lehmann. For Kahn to step on the throat of his own ambitions. Well, look, please. Make sure that. What does football of this level do to people?
As a result, the Germans won bronze medals, and 2 years later the legend of Bavaria, and probably the whole of Germany, took a farewell match. Until he was 39, he managed to remain the first number of such a large club. The footage of the departure of the long-term captain really touches the soul. Oliver was already in the locker room, and the stands were still chanting his name. Very powerful and goosebumps. Now he won't even say that this is the same man who kept everyone who was on the same field with him in fear. After completing his career, he became a completely different person. In his interviews and books, he quotes Aristotle and Kant. Extremely balanced. For a long time he worked as an expert on a sports TV channel, where he had a very good review. Since 2000 of the 19th year, he was trained in the structure of the Munich club, and in June 2000 of the 21st, he was confirmed as the general director of Bavaria. Oliver Kahn is a world-class performer and one of the first to delve into the psychological aspects of the game. He was undoubtedly one of the best goalkeepers of his generation. Fierce and fearless, fanatical in his dedication to the cause, he was truly one of a kind, a titan in every sense of the word.